welcome to another Google Hangout, and today we are discussing the UK's unstable economy, and we have a British citizen as guest, Kim Scudamore. Hi Kim, how are you doing?
Hi Marlen. Hi, I'm good, and you?
Fine, thank you. So we will discuss, in essence, what is the main problem currently in the UK's economy. One of the points that we will begin looking at is what is the current condition of the social security system or the welfare system in the UK? How does it work? What are the flaws? What's your perspective on this?
Okay. We currently have a system where it's for those that are newly unemployed, they're able to claim a benefit to assist them. I don't know what it is. I think it's worked out on a sliding scale, but it's obviously not as much as that would necessarily cover their rent. It's like a minimum payment, if you like. I think it's probably when I was last claiming, which was probably 10 years ago now, maybe more. 10 years ago. It was the first time I'd ever claimed. It was about £100 a fortnight. So it's not much more than that now. And for those that are long-term unemployed, in the last few months, they've kind of introduced a scheme where to encourage you to get back to work, you have to go and earn your benefits. So you have to go and volunteer, maybe sweeping the streets, cleaning the toilets, all what are classed as the lower end jobs that nobody else really wants to do, and keeping the public places clean to claim your benefits. So which in many ways is a cool idea because it motivates people to get back to work. But obviously, the amount of work that they'll be doing doesn't equate to the amount of benefits that they get. So it's probably going to work out even less than minimum wage for them. So they could do a very labour-intensive job and not get any improvement on their benefit. It will still remain the same. So, in one way it's really cool because they can get back into the working environment and, communicating with people again. But on the other hand, then the wages don't equate to the work that they're doing. So it's very unfair. From my perspective.
In relation to, for example, the amount of money that they get as benefit and the amount of money that a person that actually works get, what do you see this disparity or comparison point? Does the person that is in welfare get more or less the same, or do they get substantially less than the person that works? How is it going on there?
I would say from my experience and what I've been told, it's not something I've studied extensively, but it's from what I gather, it's less than the minimum wage. So, for example, if your benefit payment was, say, £150 a fortnight, which is probably what it is now for a single person, then, and the minimum wage, I'm not entirely sure what the minimum wage is at the moment. It's probably about £5.80 an hour, maybe. So if you're doing quite a labour-intensive job that require a lot of physical activity, maybe cleaning the streets, or and that's an 8-hour day. Some of them work 9 or 10 hours to claim their benefits. Then that's not going to equate to a minimum wage. That's going to be less than a minimum wage, I would say. Like I said, I don't know the facts for sure, but I don't think it would be. And you've got if you're working, and you're doing that kind of job, and you're being paid a standard wage for it. In this country, overtime is a big thing as well. So you've got the opportunity to earn overtime or to do extra hours. Whereas if you're on a benefit system, you're limited to what you can get. You can't increase that pay in any way. But like I say, as far as the plus point for me would be the fact that they're motivated to get back out there. And lots of people, I suppose, that have been unemployed for a long time, it's easy to get stuck in a rut and become quite despondent and down on yourself and depressed, really. So I suppose in a way it's a good idea, but it's just the money that's obviously the income isn't in relation to the work that they're doing, so it's not an equal thing.
So it's definitely not sufficient. And in relation to the living income guaranteed, what would you see would be supportive if we apply it to the UK with this consideration of motivation and incentive, not only to work, but to have a dignified living if you
Sure.
have a job?
Yeah, I think because they would then get a payment that would be set and it would be equal to everything else. So, equal to everybody else that is in the same position as they are. So, I think it would then give them more encouragement to go and find work, because then if they found work, it would double their income. But with the living income guarantee, at least it would cover their basic living needs. They would get they would have enough to survive, plus more. It wouldn't just be a small amount of money that they had to budget every month. It would be a substantial amount of money that would allow them to have a dignified standard of life. So from what I can see, it would be worked out on a basis that would give them the best quality of life possible, rather than a slave wage for hard work. So it's as far as the living income guarantee goes, then it's definitely a consideration, absolutely.
Cool. Let's talk about the rising in the electricity bills that people are getting in the UK.
Lots of
and how this. Yeah, what's going on in that?
Well, the market leader, which I think is British Gas, have said they're going to put the rates up by 8%. So, that would be an increase for most people of above, I would say, about £20 a month. So for those that are on low income anyway, then obviously it's going to cause a big problem for them. So, and what's happening now is people that have fixed their prices, a lot of the providers that have fixed their prices are now moving the goalposts and saying that our costs have gone up as well, so now we have to make an increase. Even though they fixed their prices, they're completely ignoring that. So people that switched to companies that were going to keep their rates at a stable level have now decided they're going to play with the big boys, if you like. They're going to go along on the same lines and increase the payments as well. So I think the minimum is 8%. Some of them are increasing it by about 12 or 15%. So that's a huge hike. And of course, you've got the pensioners here that get they get I can't remember the name of it, the cold weather payment. That's stopping as well. So a lot of them can't afford to keep their heating on. They make a choice between buying food or heating their homes. A lot of the elderly are going to struggle this year if it gets really cold.
Yeah, of course. So in relation to what the living income guaranteed is proposing in relation to these basic services, which is in essence ensuring that all of these basic services like heating, electricity, obviously, water, transportation, all of these basic aspects which are human rights are guaranteed. All of these funds, like this cold weather pension point, would simply cease to exist, isn't it? What else can you see would change if the living income guarantee is implemented?
Well, obviously, if you're getting a fixed payment every month, regardless, then that would be your heating costs would be included in that. You would be able to apply for the living income guaranteed. It would give you enough money to cover those costs and still have enough money to buy food. You're not going to be choosing one over the other. You're not going to be in a position where you have to choose whether you stay warm or put food in your stomach. It's going to be a situation where that is assessed for you and you're given enough to cover that and more, so you can still keep yourself alive and healthy, so it's a no-brainer, really.
Exactly.
Why would you not? Why would you not want the living income guaranteed?
Exactly. And what about the housing situation? There's also a market procedure going on there to entice you to buy houses. How does this work?
Yeah, they're trying to encourage the younger people that are struggling to get a foothold on the on the house buying market to take out mortgages. So at the moment as well, the rates are really low. I'm not sure what the Bank of England base rate is, but it is substantially. It's about 0.5%, so it's very low. So it's obviously done in a way to encourage people to buy houses, and take out a mortgage, and then obviously the costs are going to go up at some point. And then you're left with a huge debt that really you can't afford. And even with I know that the subprime mortgages have gone and there isn't that situation anymore. There's still going to be some kind of hike to the interest rates in the future. So all the young people now that are excited about buying their first home and, can get a foot on the ladder, then, they're actually being fooled into thinking that it's something they're going to be able to afford probably for the rest of their lives. It's going to sustain them, because at some point the rates are going to rise, and no one ever takes this into consideration. The young
So
people.
So it's a housing bubble in essence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So which is, I think it's good. They're offering different schemes. I don't know too much about the schemes that are being offered, but they are definitely trying to encourage younger people to buy their first homes, and they're making them more affordable. And at the same time, the house prices, certainly where I'm living in the southwest, have rocketed over the last 6 months. They've gone up quite substantially. So the kids are being encouraged to get a mortgage, but yet the house prices keep rising. So
it's unsustainable.
It's not. It's crazy. Yeah, there's no stability at all.
Let's talk about the job situation there, because there's been in the news a lot of news on unemployment in the UK, and also whether it is viable to have a dignified living and having more than enough if you have 1 or 2 jobs. What's your current perspective on this?
The problem is, or the main issue at the moment would be that we've got an increased population, and we don't have the manufacturing here in the UK like we used to have, and a lot of the companies are sending even the financial institutions are sending their call centres are going overseas. So a lot of the work is being outsourced to bureau companies in India, China, So a lot of the work is going overseas, and yet the population is increasing because we're allowing more and more of the, other European countries in. Which is fine, because if they're coming to work, that's no problem. It's not too much of a drain on the resources here. But the issues are the money's not staying in the country, from what I can see. They're sending it back home again, so it's not even feeding into the economy. So the economy's not growing, and more people are. You've got more people here that are looking for work. And it's very unsustainable, and it's only a matter of time, I would say, before the whole thing just collapses in on itself. The work isn't here, and we've just got an influx of people coming in. And I know a lot of people will say, or I've heard them say, that if the English are prepared to do the jobs, then why would you take on a Polish person if the English person is prepared to do the work? So the English person must be lazy, or but if you that's just a very small part of the situation. Some people can't work. Some people aren't able to do the jobs that are being offered out, if you like. But I think what I'm trying to say is it's not just the fact that they're lazy. I think it's more to do with the fact that a Polish person may take a lower wage. And the companies are looking more attractive to the corporations, because obviously it's costing them less money.
Exactly. And when converting the money to their own currency, it obviously makes sense to earn a little bit less in the UK for the UK, but when they get the remittances back home, it's a lot more money, so it obviously makes sense. So in relation to the living income guaranteed, how will it solve this problem of immigration?
Well, if it's a policy that's adopted worldwide, then everybody's going to have the same basic income. There isn't going to be a situation where you've got one person earning more than another, and the currency is, when it's exchanged, is different, and then you're losing out or gaining. Everything's going to be applied across the board. So people aren't going to be looking to go to other countries for work. So
Exactly.
what is in your country stays within your country, and there should be enough jobs to sustain everybody. That's how I
And
see it.
also, yeah, of course, the remittances wouldn't exist, meaning the money would stay reactivating the same economy. For example, if you pay for your heating, for your housing, for your food, for your transportation, everything remains in the UK because it would
Yeah,
be a national based system instead of having people wanting the benefits that you are funding with your own work, with your own people. And so it is not to say, immigration is bad or anything, but it simply wouldn't exist for the reasons that it currently exists, which is getting a
exactly.
better living condition.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Definitely. Yeah.
What is the current condition in relation to, for example, if you have one job, is it sufficient, let's say, in a regular job where you're getting a little bit more than the minimum wage? Are you able to get a dignified living? How's that situation going on?
Um, I think it depends on where you are in the country, but I think because not everybody, but a lot of people were bitten by the housing bubble, and maybe bought when house prices were low, interest rates were low again, and obviously, as you know, yeah, prices have gone up, everything's gone up, all the utilities have gone up, but the wages haven't gone up. The wages have remained the same. So, yeah, I think for a long time we've had it good in the UK, but as things are slowly becoming more and more, the balance is becoming more and more extreme. People are now having to go and find another job to sustain um, their own style of living. That they've to maintain that style of living. Really, a lot of families now are running two cars because you've got jobs that you're having to travel further for, and everything's costing more and more. So, you know, wages aren't increasing, but prices are. So people are having to work two, maybe three jobs.
So that's the main disparity that we are witnessing, not only in the UK but everywhere else. And it means that the economic system in itself is not sustainable because if you have people earning the same amount of money and everything else is rising and there's inflation going on, it obviously indicates that the system itself won't be sustainable. That's why we are
Absolutely.
promoting the living
Yeah.
income guarantee to make this a proper and stable way to reactivate the economy, to make it sustainable, and
Yeah.
to never again have to resort to, for example, debt.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
debt
Oh, which is a
situation?
biggie. Yeah. Debt. Yeah. You can't. There are lots of kind of different programs around now in the UK. There are different debt management companies that will manage your debt for you for a fee. Some of them are free, but you're still tied into having to make those payments every month for a finite amount of time. So you never really, you're always just managing your debt. You're never actually getting out of it. You're just kind of, and so many people are, and I did myself, was you would swap one credit card debt for another one that was 0% for a while. So you're constantly consolidating and taking out more credit to pay the credit, to cover the credit from before. And an endless cycle of debt, really, that you never really get clear of.
Which doesn't make sense because if you're
No,
spending on your own living expenses, that should be given as a human right, not as something
definitely.
that will get you into
Yeah.
debt for an endless time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, as a conclusion to our hangout today on the UK, we've covered many points. Would you like to add something that could give a decisive factor of why you support the living income guaranteed in the UK, of course?
Okay. Well, I've used these words before, but it's absolutely a no-brainer. It's just, there is no other way to go. Everybody is entitled to a decent way of life, a dignified way of life where you can afford to feed yourself, afford to heat your home, where you don't have to go and work two jobs, but you can work if you choose to do so if you want a better quality of living. But essentially the payment that is made is the same to everybody else. It's an equal payment that will afford you a decent quality of life, basically. That I can't see, for me, there is no other way. that this system is collapsing. It's getting worse day by day. You know, where I live, like I say, I'm kind of in a bit of a bubble because I'm in part of the country where there is a little bit more money, but it's not going to be long before it catches up with all of us. But in the north of England, I know that, you know, things are really bad.
Exactly, and
Yep.
this applies in essence to everywhere in the world. So, in
Yeah,
essence, we say this is the solution, this is the way to save the current capitalistic system, to make it sustainable, and to reactivate the economy without having to resort to war
absolutely.
or any other useless kind of aim that some governments are taking. So, Kim, thanks a lot for your participation
Thank
here
you.
and for
Thank you,
sharing with
Marlen.
us the UK situation. And guys, see you on the next Google Hangout on Living Income Guaranteed. Please visit the websites that will be in the information section of this video, as well as supporting us. Thanks. Join the discussions as well, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.